Hello, my name is Matt Rommel. I am the marketing and media manager for Combat Flip Flops. We're going to get started here in just a second. We're joined by CEO and co-founder Matt Griffin, Combat Flip Flops. We're just waiting on Ken to join us, and then we'll get started here. So if you have any questions or comments in the meantime, feel free to drop them in the chat box.
I'm just trying to get my Bluetooth connected here. It's always the last minute stuff. Mr. Fainstock, hello. What's going on, everybody?
We're live on all channels and everything seems good. Ready to roll.
All right. Waiting for Mr. Brenneman. If you guys weren't aware, we just posted a new blog post this morning. We're getting back into the blogging and the commentary.
Y'all are just joining us. We'll be getting started here in just a moment. If y'all want to say hello, drop some comments, questions, do so in the chat box.
I'm failing miserably with my Bluetooth this morning.
Where's Lee? We miss him. Where's he at?
Lee, he's not showing up. He is not allowed to be on the live sessions anymore. We had this thing we were doing with the Navy, and he had this picture of Saddam, which he got in Iraq, off a wall, and he had a mustache drawn on Saddam's face, and he pounded a couple Modelo's while doing a live session announcing the Navy. It wasn't the best, and so we lost him as a customer as a result. So he has since been banned from Facebook Lives and any live session altogether.
We're just waiting on Ken Brenneman from Main Street Bond to join us. Start a little pop.
Yes, hot dog Griff was priceless, and he always pops up every now and then. There's Mr. Brenneman.
There we go.
How's my audio, by the way? I'm about to just give up on this Bluetooth connection here.
All right. So we got Ken, Matt, myself. We're ready to roll. Like I said, my name is Matt Rommel. I'm the marketing and media manager for Combat Flip Flops. Today we're going to be discussing the crowdfunding campaign that Main Street Bond and Combat Flip Flops is hosting. And they're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of that and how you can help Combat Flip Flops in our mission. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and introduce Ken. He's going to tell us a little bit about Main Street Bond, what crowdfunding is, and we'll roll from there.
Thanks, Matt. Apologies. I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat today. So, but yeah, my name is Kenneth Brenneman, U.S. Army veteran and founder of Main Street Bond. Now, what is Main Street Bond? It is a FINRA and SEC regulated crowdfunding portal. So unlike normal crowdfunding portals, i.e. Indiegogo, Kickstarter, things like that, we are actually allowing for investment into private companies. So what's normally just been reserved for, the very wealthy, we're allowing for your everyday investor to be able to invest in private companies. Now, why is crowdfunding such a big deal? Well, crowdfunding allows for you to support the companies you love, i.e. Combat Flip-Flops, and help put forward their mission. So, it's a very integral part of the financial ecosystem and gives businesses access to capital that maybe they wouldn't have been able to get previously.
Ken, can you do me a favor? You've mentioned FINRA and SEC. Can you
Yep.
explain the differences between those two organizations for people who
Yes,
don't
I can.
understand?
Yeah, no problem. So FINRA is who makes sure that everything that I do is good for the customer, everything a company does is good for the customer or the investor. And the SEC regulates on a broad level all of the businesses. So while I have two regulators, Griff would be regulated by the SEC and Combat Flip-Flops. So, FINRA is really looking at making sure that the customers are taken care of in the best possible way. And the SEC is making sure that all the companies that are offering securities are in compliance with local and national laws.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Griff, you want to start off and tell us a little bit about Combat Flip-Flops, what our mission is, and how everyone can help us in our crowdfunding campaign?
So Combat Flip-Flops, we're a veteran-owned and operated business. We started making products in conflict and post-conflict areas because we saw that entrepreneurs and small business leaders were the guys that were promoting the best security in these regions. And after I got out of the military, I started contracting downrange, putting in clinics in these spots. And I saw that the local entrepreneurs were the guys who kept their streets safe, because if it's bad for business, it's bad for the family, so they don't let it happen. And I kept asking myself this question, why isn't the US investing more in small businesses in these areas? Because we could do this for fractions of the dollar of an F-16 or an MRAP. It would be a better representation of America and Americans, and it would be a more ethical and responsible way to turn these nations around, because the guys who actually did the job like we did when we captured the bad guys, the main excuse for them doing what they did is they didn't have employment. So if we can go there and create jobs, we know that we can promote security. So that was our mindset. That's how we started. We started making flip-flops in a combat boot factory in Afghanistan in 2012. And now we make our footwear in Bogota, Colombia. We make textiles in Afghanistan. We make jewelry from landmines in Laos. And we print all of our direct-to-garment shirts and everything else here in the United States. So that's what we do.
Great. So with this whole crowdfunding campaign, does that mean we're going public?
No, it does not mean we're going public. This is a private placement. And so very similar to the way that we brought on angel investors to help us get started in the beginning, or brought on some companies or some more well-to-do persons to invest into the company to help us get inventory, to do better marketing, to grow our company. We are now offering that to folks like you. And Ken can speak on that here in a second. But over the past 18 months, we've really tried to grow in the aftermath of the Afghan withdrawal. And between the economic conditions and the market, private equity firms, VC and banks have been unwilling to support us. And so we said, hey, why don't we just go back and go to the people who have supported us from the beginning, which is you, the everyday consumer and wearer of the most badass flip-flops on the planet, and give you the ability to invest in the company, participate in the mission, and then be successful with us as we grow.
Awesome. Ken, can you tell us a little bit about the crowdfunding campaign and how it works? What the minimum buy-in is, what the process is, and what it means to invest. But also, don't forget about the taxes.
Yep, no problem. So the minimum buy-in, and excuse me if I end up coughing, been trying to keep costs down all day, but minimum buy-in is $100, $100.49. So shares are priced approximately $1 a share, a little under $1 a share. And what the process is you go to mainstreetbond.com/combatflipflops. And from there, you can see a button that says invest now. Now, to make sure that you're not making too much of an investment, I have kind of some safeguards within my crowdfunding portal. So you'll fill out a little bit of a questionnaire asking certain questions on how, and then it'll determine how much you can invest. Now, once you click the invest button, there you'll read through a little bit of a disclosure, and then you'll go through and sign documents. This makes you an official owner of Combat Flip-Flops. Now, that official ownership piece, Griff will most likely reach out to you and well, Griff will reach out to you, and I will most likely reach out to you to welcome you to the team of Main Street Bond and Combat Flip-Flops. And then you will enter in your bank account information from a check so that you can transfer the money. That goes into an escrow account, and then at the end of the campaign, all that will go straight to supporting the mission of Combat Flip-Flops. Now, what does this mean to you? Well, you are now a part owner of Combat Flip-Flop, so you'll be able to partake in any profits that Combat Flip-Flop takes with a distribution. And also, if there is a year that there is a loss, you can claim that loss on your taxes. Now, how do you know how that's going to be? Well, the Combat Flip-Flops team has a full tax team to be able to send you documents at the end of every year. So it's a document called a K1 that'll tell you whether or not you've made profit or loss for that year. And once that happens, you're fully on board in a portion of the team, and Griff will go into kind of the mission of what that means to everyone else.
So what to expect when you invest? Honestly, what you're going to expect is as soon as you invest when you go through the buttons, there's a lot of check marks. And I know a lot of you guys are hesitant about putting your net worth or bank account information on the site. Ken has a secure site that's been verified by the SEC and FINRA, so you can trust that we're not going to hijack your bank account. So just make sure you check all the blocks, read all the dots. And then when you invest, you're going to get a DocuSign document that you're going to sign first, and then it's immediately going to come to me. I'm going to sign it. And then after I sign it, I'm going to email you directly, and we're going to set up a time to have about a half an hour conversation. So that way we can go through any questions you may have, where we've been as a company, where we are, where we're going, and then some free things that you can do to help, which we're going to just disclose to you here in a few short minutes, because even if you can't invest and you love our mission and you want to support us, there's some things that you can do for free from your cell phone that will be really impactful and meaningful for our teams downrange. Additionally, when we're done all wrapped up, you guys are going to be part owners of the company, so you're going to get to participate in the employee discount. So if you guys are buying our stuff all the time, at least we're going to save you a little money in the long run. So the other ways that you can support for free is just through your phone. Because we say things like, don't hurt kids, don't go to war, be a better human, the platforms really haven't really enjoyed what we had to say. So they shut us down, and we can see it on our data where we post something that's on fire and then it just plateaus and they stop us from getting more reach. So that share button is free and it's easy. So if you see anything of ours and you hit that share button, it would really be helpful to us, and we would really be appreciative. Next is engagement. The platforms trip on engagement. So if you see one of our posts, smash your fingers down on the button, comment. You can say, hey, I bought their products for years. The owner is weird, but they make good products. And then doubling down on the engagement, because we have started manufacturing again in Afghanistan, post regime change, post 21, we're getting a lot of comments that's saying, hey, we're funding terrorism, which is just simply not the case. We believe in not abandoning our partners. We haven't left them, since 2021. We've been fully supporting the mission, what's going on downrange. We've been keeping people employed. We've been keeping food on tables, and we still continue to be that positive representation of America that we always strive to be abroad. So when you see those people chime in the comments, we have one rule. If you insult them, you lose, but do whatever you can do to keep them talking, because they can't help themselves. Ask them to explain their position, ask them to back it up with facts, but if they're just repeating mainstream media, just keep them talking. And that gives us a window to get in and give you our mindset, our viewpoint. And then when new customers come and they see our advertisements and they see an ad with 500 or 600 comments, it looks a little bit different. And then they dive down to the comments, and where we say things like, hey, we don't leave our friends. We're still working there. We put over 1,000 girls in school in Afghanistan. Now we're helping put veterans in the water. We pay our manufacturer and UPS directly. We do not give any money to the current government of Afghanistan. And coincidentally, the US government has been giving that government in Afghanistan $11 million a day. So the argument could be made that every American that's paying taxes is funding that government more than we are. So with that said, is just keep them talking, because the engagement matters. It makes our ads more effective. It helps sell more product, which puts more people to work, which drives the mission forward even further. The last, and everybody does this, me included, if you shop on Amazon, if there's anything that's in our catalog on Amazon, so if you just go to Amazon and type in Combat Flip Flops, you're going to find our brand store. You'll see all our products listed. If you own any of those products, even if you haven't bought them on Amazon, you can leave a review if you leave a review with a photo. So snap a quick photo, tell the people how much you love the product, and it's really meaningful. We've been asking our investors and our supporters for the last few weeks to leave reviews on Amazon and let other people know what they think and why they should buy our product. And we've seen our Amazon continue to skyrocket up. We did 1,100% growth last year, and year over year, 2024 over 2023, we're already up 360%. So it really does make a meaningful difference to putting people in conflict zones to work if you just take a few minutes of your time and leave a nice review. So those are ways that you can help for free. So share, comment, back troll the trolls, leave a review on Amazon.
Awesome. Thanks, Griff. Ken, do you have anything else to add before we go into the Q&A?
No, I mean, the one big thing that I will say is that for every crowdfunding portal, just to make sure that, you know, companies aren't a scam. Obviously, Griff and everyone have been around for an age. I conduct a very long due diligence period for Combat Flip Flops. It was 4 months of me asking every question about the company possible. Excuse me. And with that, you know, only the top companies will I allow onto the platform, and Combat Flip Flops, between their mission and the sturdiness of their company, reached all of those.
Awesome. Well, if you all don't have anything else to add, we'll go ahead and get to the questions here in the chat box. The first question was, Chris, has all the footwear moved to Colombia?
Yes, all the footwear has moved to Colombia. And the reason for this is that amateurs talk tactics, professionals talk logistics. When we first started manufacturing in Afghanistan, we were leveraging the combat boot overhead because the US government was funding factories to make boots for the Afghan military, but Afghans don't have rubber trees. They don't have EVA manufacturing facilities. They don't have leather tanneries. So everything they were buying was coming out of Asia, imported into Afghanistan and taxed, manufactured in Afghanistan, which is very expensive, exported to Afghanistan, taxed, and then imported into the US, taxed again. So there were several series of taxes on the same product all the way around, which just was not cost effective. Additionally, Afghanistan is one of the most expensive places in the world to ship from. So we looked at Colombia. Colombia is the war on terror. Colombia is the war on drugs. Afghans, the war on terror. Two mountain people suffering from a narco finance insurgency. And it's almost the same thing. So much so that in 2017, 2018, the Colombians and the Afghans formed a diplomatic relationship so the Colombians could coach the Afghans on how to turn their country around using business and economics. So obviously it didn't work because the Afghan government had their own issues, but all of our manufacturing is in Colombia. It's all done within a 20-mile radius. All the raw materials are made within a 20-mile radius of the finishing facility. So we have a low carbon footprint. We really try to put the least amount of plastics and non-footwear products in our packaging to you guys. So when you get it, it's going to be really simple. But that's what we do. So it ships fast to you, and you can trust that most of the times when stuff comes off our manufacturing floor, it's usually delivered to you within a month. So it's going to be the definition of fresh.
Awesome. Next question, Alexander. Can a non-US resident invest?
So yes, a non-US resident can invest. We have not had one throughout my entire platform. We ensure that one, AML and KYC. So depending on where your locale is, you know, we're going to have to take that documentation, but the entire platform is set up to bring forward and have investors throughout the world.
Yeah, we're a global mission, so we wanted to make sure that we didn't limit it to the US based.
Next question. When does this campaign end? I answered that in the chat, but I'll let you guys.
Yeah, so the campaign, just due to all of the FINRA regulations and SEC regulations, there is a set time limit on this. This campaign will end on February 29th at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So, you know,
that's Thursday night.
Thursday
for anybody
night.
who wants to know. For you guys who wait till the last minute, it only takes a minute. We're in the final stages of it here.
Cool. I'm not seeing any other questions right now. So if anyone in the audience there has any other questions, feel free to drop it in the chat box.
Thank you for the concern, Michael. I know it sucks being sick, but it's like we have to push forward with the mission. So,
yeah. Ira with the excellent mullet and the Iroxy. I'm glad you like the chicken Hilux conspiracy theory. It's not a theory, it's a fact. So if you guys are just wondering about that, you can Google that one on YouTube, and it's pretty interesting.
Chicken Hilux. Okay, I'm gonna look that one up.
That's why we can't get Hiluxes in the United States. It's because of the chicken policy in the 1950s. Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I'm a Toyota guy.
well, the funny part is that now the Hilux is the only thing that's being taxed for it. Chicken tax and all the rest of the tariffs. It's just that cargo.
Yep.
Yeah. When can we expect the skids to be back available on Amazon?
We are landing a shipment mid-March of the skids, and they will be immediately turned around and shipped into the Amazon warehouses. So you can get them first on combatflipflops.com, but if you want to wait to get them on Amazon, it's going to take probably until the end of March.
Awesome. Give it another minute or two. Drop some last-minute questions here.
So a lot of people want to know about our lifetime warranty, which is one of the things that separates us from other companies is we do have a lifetime warranty. We're a small business. We're also Army Rangers, so we spend a lot of time on our feet, and we believe in producing high quality footwear. So if the item breaks because of manufacturing, if the toe post pulls out, a thread pops off, anything else like that, our warranty is exceptionally simple. Take a photo with your cell phone, email customer service at combatflipflops.com, and then we will get you a new pair out immediately. And it's interesting to see over time how our product has gotten better. So our warranties have gotten lower, and we have people that are still rocking the OG stuff with the poppy soles from 10 years ago. And they're like, I'm still trying to beat them to death. And the reason is because we use different materials than everybody else. That's why our stuff costs more, is we don't use EVA in our outsoles. We don't use thermoplastic resins. We use real rubber and high quality materials in our outsole, very similar to a combat boot. Why you can hardly wear through those things, but you'll wear through a set of Nikes in a season is because the materials are just different. We use high quality rubbers in our midsoles. So that way, most other companies, if you're used to like walking on pavement after a few weeks of owning an expensive pair of flip-flops, you don't get that with us because we have a closed cell foam with a high rubber content in it. The one note that we do get on that is, oh, they're slick when they're wet. I live in a jungle. I literally live in a rainforest, and I know what you're talking about, but all you got to do is just get some dish soap and a light soft cloth and just scrub all the stuff that comes off there. You get a lot of materials that come off your foot and the dirt. And if you just clean them up real quick, I promise they'll be as sticky as ever for the life of the product.
Awesome. Well, anybody else out there have any more questions before we sign off? Anybody going once, going twice? Is there?
Oh, we just got one.
Alexander here. Is there an optimal investment amount for a casual supporter?
Yeah, so one thing, and that's, I'll take this one, Griff. Hopefully not have a coughing attack in the middle of it. So the reason why we set it at 100 is that's basically, it will solve all those overhead issues. So one, a casual investor, obviously we'd want you to be more of a portion than just $100, but with all the admin work that needs to go into this, we've set up the tools and systems in place to be able to make it a very streamlined flow. And that's where we're able to offer that low cost of $100 for an investment. It doesn't really dilute the value. Every $100, every penny that we get for Main Street Bond goes directly to Combat Flip-Flops to support the mission.
Can you do me a favor and just talk about the credit card issue for a second? And it just doesn't apply to us; it applies to all crowdfunding platforms.
Yeah. So there was a recent update across multiple credit card processors. So we're slowly getting it back online, but as we said, we're FINRA and SEC regulated. So what's happening is with any time that any credit card processing fee or anything else goes up or down, which you guys may have seen this in the news, we have to reapply through FINRA, through the SEC to make sure everything is correct. Unfortunately, just due to the complexities, we weren't able to offer credit card investment for combat flip-flops. They might come back on the platform, but right now there's only.
Looks like Ken's having a little bit of internet issues today. So basically, the SEC and FINRA put the kibosh on credit card processing for crowdfunding equity. It's been a big reset for everybody right now, and they're all working through it. So we had that when we first started our campaign, and then we had to turn it off. So if you're going to donate, it has to be through an ACH transfer.
Somebody had a question about hot dog Griff, an 8x10 photo.
Mr. Fainstock, if you invest, I will print off an 8x10 photo of hot dog Griff, and I will autograph it and send it to you.
I'm going to do an AI version of that. Hot dog Griff.
Ira wanted to know, yes, Lee and myself were former Rangers or 2nd Ranger Battalion. Matt is a former Air Force, and it pains me to say it, a Navy guy. Andy, the guy who actually makes everything happen, the Wookiee behind the scenes, driving the fastest company in the flip-flop galaxy. He is all civilian, but he is the son of a 20-year retired Navy guy who is actually one of the coolest Navy guys I've ever met in my life.
Besides me. Awesome. Well, if there's no more questions, I'll leave it up for another 30 seconds or so. We'll go ahead and sign off here in a moment. Griff or Ken, do you all have anything else before we get off here?
No apology. I just want to say sorry for coughing into the mic and everything. And thanks, Griff, for coming up with the credit card when I coughed. Like everything just like went black on my screen. But, you know, obviously I'm close friends with the Combat Flip-Flops team. They are some of the best gents in the world. Their mission is wonderful and their company is blowing up. So just proud that they can be the first offering ever on Main Street Bond.
And with that, guys, I'm going to throw in the shameless plug. It's just mainstreetbond.com/combatflipflops. And it really means a lot that you guys are willing to take your time out of the day to, one, listen to us talk on social media, but two, if you guys are willing to invest and be a part of the mission, whether or not you invest or whether you support through the social media means, it really does mean a lot, and it helps people downrange. And I think that's what we're all aiming for, is that impactful change in areas that need it. So thank you very much for supporting the mission.
Awesome. Well, with that said, we'll go ahead and sign off, and we really appreciate your all's time. And any more questions, feel free to DM us, reach out to us on any of our channels. We'll be happy to help you out.
All right. Be a better human, guys. See you.
Thanks all.